Hey everybody, welcome to the AF Playbook Podcast. This is going to be episode number 7. This is kind of the unofficial last weekend of summer here. It's a holiday weekend in the United States, so I'm just catching up on a few things that I need to do and getting ready for the big push into fall and then the holiday season. You probably know that affiliate marketing and traffic a little bit tends to slow down in the summer. You know, people are outside, they're not on the computer as much, going on vacation, kids are out of school. So after this weekend, everything kind of settles back down and traffic should be back in full force and everybody should be kind of back on the grind. So now is a great time if you're just starting or even if you kind of took a break in summer and you're wanting to get back into it. So I definitely encourage you to make a big push this fall because it's going to be a really good fall and holiday season. If you haven't checked out the forum lately, log in and check it out. I put up a new skin that looks really good, kind of did a whole new thing. So anyway, check it out and let me know what you think. My guest on this episode of the podcast is Malan Darras, and he has a blog at malandarras.com. I'll put a link in the blog post. Malan is a really cool guy. He has a lot of knowledge about affiliate marketing, but also about things like productivity and health. So we had a really interesting discussion, and we share a lot of the same background as far as, getting into affiliate marketing and going, leaving a day job, stuff like that. So I think you're really going to like this interview. It reminded me of one story that we talk a little bit about in the podcast, but I'll expand on it a little here. I quit my day job about 10 years ago, approximately now, and I still to this day have a recurring dream that it's my last day of work and I'm collecting all my stuff and I'm so happy to be leaving. And so 10 years later, I'm still having that exact same recurring dream. So that was a really big life event for me. Quitting my job and actually being able to do this full time and work for myself. And I know a lot of you in the forum have had the opportunity to do this too, and it's really cool to see. So anyway, here's the interview, and I hope you guys like it, and make sure and check out Malan's blog. And thanks for doing the podcast with us. I've been really looking forward to this one. Could you just tell us a little bit about your background and maybe sort of how you got started with affiliate marketing?
Sure, and those are both the same answer. My background is, I'm from Oklahoma, born and bred in Oklahoma, and I was a musician for most of my life. And I found affiliate marketing en route to trying to make it in the music business. I was on a how to make it in the music business email newsletter where they gave out tips on how to, get a record deal or whatever. And one day they just randomly sent out an email about making money. Do you want to make money online? They had done some JV partnership with someone. And I thought, well, yeah. Now, I tried it. I took a free course, and it basically taught you how to do SEO. And I took the free info that they gave and turned it into a small living, first making a couple $100 here and there, and then a couple grand a month. And then flipped all of that into all the money that I saved. I flipped that into paid traffic in late 2008, and that's when things really took off. And I was able to, basically retire from 9 to 5 and do affiliate marketing. I've done it ever since.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's kind of random that they just happened to send that out. But yeah, that's really cool. So. What sort of paid traffic did you get into when you first started out?
AdWords. I was on Google AdWords. Back in 08, affiliates could still run on AdWords really easy. You could just set up an account, start it, and spend $1 million a day if you wanted to. There was no need for a cloaker or anything like that. And so I worked in AdWords for probably the first year. It was my major traffic source. It was my only traffic source for the first 6 months or so. I didn't scale to other traffic sources for almost a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was huge. AdWords was so huge.
Yeah.
You didn't really need to go anywhere else. You could spend, into the 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars a day if you wanted to there. There was really no reason to branch out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Then they changed the rules, and then we all branched out everywhere.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of the history repeating itself with affiliate marketing. It seems like every traffic source goes through that to some degree.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, you know, the majority of affiliate marketers don't bring a lot of value to Google's users or Facebook's users or Yahoo's users. And it's just because they do some things that aren't great. You know, sometimes there's some shady tactics going on, and guys are trying to find ways to make money. And we piss off these major traffic sources because they value their customers more than they value our ad spend, even if we're spending tens of thousands of dollars a day. And if we're pissing off their customers, we're going to get kicked off. You know, it's just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really good point. So then after you got started doing affiliate marketing, you moved out to Hollywood. Is that right?
Well, actually, I moved here before I started doing paid traffic. I had scrounged together some money that I'd saved from doing SEO and from my job. I worked at a web design agency before this, okay. And I had a band going. I was all over the place. But I saved up the money that I was making from my little SEO campaigns, and I moved to Hollywood with no job, and I had just the money that I had saved, and I was determined. At that point, I thought I want to make, you know, my goal was like $100 a day. If I could make $100 a day, that would cover my living expenses in Hollywood, and I could pursue a music career full time.
Okay.
That was the original plan. But then, you know, as it happened, the paid traffic campaigns went so well that I pretty much had to decide to just put music to the side for a little while, or for a long time, and just do this because it was undeniably profitable and going to make me way more money than I'd ever thought I would make in music. You know?
Sure. Yeah, I can totally.
Kind of switched.
Was that a hard decision for you because you had planned on doing music and then you kind of had to give up at least part of it? Was that tough to make the decision, or?
Big time. Yeah, it's real hard because I grew up very poor. Mm-hmm. And music to me was my saving grace for my whole life. From the time if you asked me when I was 5 years old, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said a rock star. Music, I'm going to be a rock star. Uh-huh. And I had that dream for so long that even the prospect of being able to work from home and do affiliate marketing and make insane amounts of money and never work again, even that prospect was kind of like, man, you know, even when I succeeded that big in affiliate marketing, still kind of felt like a failure in some ways because I didn't accomplish this music dream. And I promised myself when I did have to make the decision, and it was really hard because I had things going on. I had a band here in Hollywood, and we were in some major studios and writing music and, you know, had management and all of this stuff. And I had to kind of decide at one point to choose a path. You know, you can't do two things well. You can do one thing really well. And I chose the affiliate thing, but it was tough. And people laughed. They're like, man, how could it be such a hard decision because you were making so much money in affiliate marketing? But it was just that it's because the dream meant, and it still to me is a big deal. You know, I still would like to play more music than I am, and I still have the dream. But I do affiliate marketing with a lot of my time now.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I can totally understand where you're coming from with that. So you're still doing music to some degree. Do you want to get back into it more at some point, or where do you see yourself going with affiliate marketing?
Where do I see myself going with affiliate marketing and music as well? My master plan long term, and this has been my plan from day one, but it's taken a lot longer to put together than I thought it would. My big goal is I'll probably do online marketing in some fashion for as long as I can. I love it. I mean, it's not work to me. It's fun. It's like a big game, and the points are money, you know. It's not work at all. I would probably do it even if I wasn't making much money at it. So I'll do that. I'm going to do this affiliate stuff for a long time, or build my own products and stuff, something online for a long time. Yeah. But my long-term goal is to mix the music back in, because to me, it's like medicine. I have to have it. And without music, it feels like there's just a hole in my life. The difference is I don't have to make it, quote unquote, make it. I don't have to get a record deal anymore to do music. I have this online thing it pays all my bills. Mm-hmm. So I could my dream is to do affiliate stuff, and then for maybe a month out of every year, rent a bus or a van of some sort with a few friends and just travel the country playing shows with no expectation of success or financial gains or anything like that, just for fun and to, to keep that music part of my life going.
Yeah. That's really cool. A lot of people, they make a lot of money online, or they want to make a lot of money online, and when they get successful, it's kind of like, now what do I do with this money or my life, and so they just end up working all the time because that's all they're passionate about. So that's really cool that you have something else like that you really enjoy. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So on your blog, you write a lot of really good stuff. I wanted to talk about a few things that I've read on there. The first thing, you talk a lot about, I'll just say productivity or successful living, just kind of as a general statement, but kind of just how to feel better, the right mindset going in. So do you have, if someone came up to you and said, okay, what's your basic philosophy for being happy and successful? Is that something you could sum up? I don't want to put you on the spot, but.
Let me think. Basic philosophy for being happy and successful. That's a tough one to answer because happiness and success mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Sure.
But for me, what I would say is one of the big things I've realized is that not having a 9-to-5 job that you don't really like is a big, big deal. When you can leave the workforce the way that I did, because I've lived both sides. I've been very broke, then I've had 9-to-5 jobs that I hated but paid well, and now I work from home. When you extract yourself from that 9-to-5 lifestyle, especially if it's a job you hate, your happiness level goes through the roof.
Yeah.
Because you get to be yourself. You don't have to be, fake Malan who goes to work 9-to-5 and acts like a good member of the team or whatever, and you don't have to play that game. You don't have to put on a tie. You don't have to do any of that. So just doing the online marketing and getting to be yourself is a huge happiness factor for me.
Yeah, that's a good statement. Yeah, I think one of my things, I was thinking of that when you said not having to go to the office and be somebody else. I used to hate having to go in on Monday and try to pretend to talk about sports with everybody or listen to everybody talk about sports and go, oh, so what do you think of the game and this? And not that I hate sports or anything, I just don't really watch it. So I was always kind of like, I don't know, I was on the computer, but so.
Yeah, it's that whole lifestyle of going in the office, a bunch of fake conversations with people you probably wouldn't hang out with on a regular basis. And you may not even work that day, but you have to be there and spend your 8 hours and put off everything else you've got going in your life because you have to, clock in, clock out, and get your paycheck. Mm-hmm. Man, when you get out of that, and I'm sure you're there as well. I haven't had a job for 6 years now, and it's just the best thing I ever did. It totally relieves that whole stupid feeling of being a drone, or like a worker bee. That stuff all goes away.
It does. I think I quit. I don't know. It must be going on close to 10 years now, and to this day I still have a recurring dream that it's my last day of work and I'm packing up my stuff and walking out, and it's like the greatest feeling ever. And so yeah, it is. That's can do a lot for your happiness.
That's funny. I have dreams like that too all the time. And in my dreams, I'll be in either high school or at work. In one of my previous jobs. And in the dream, it's like a waking dream. I'll wake up in the dream and realize I'm dreaming. And here I am working at, Subway or one of these old jobs I had when I was a teenager. And I'll think to myself, wait a minute, I live in California now. I made a ton of money. I don't have a job. I don't have to do this. And then I just start telling everyone what I think, and storm out of the place. And that happens a lot. I have those dreams a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just a feeling to be able to wake up and go, oh, thank God I'm not making sandwiches for some guy today, you know, or something like that. No offense if someone's doing that for a job right now. No offense, man. I did that for 2 years, but I'm just glad that I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. So on your blog, it seems like you get a lot of questions, people writing to you or posting in the comments and stuff. So I wanted to ask, what are some common mistakes that you see new or seasoned affiliate marketers making?
New, there's so many. I could just pick one of 1,000 because it's everything wrong, you know, like we all at the beginning. But I'd say one of the biggest recurring things is, and this is on the top of my mind because I just did a YouTube video for it today that I'm going to upload in a few days. But they want results immediately. Mm-hmm. They want to put up their first campaign, you know, on Plenty of Fish or something and start making $10,000 a day. Right, immediately. Right. And they think that they can, you know, they're going to make a profit from day one. And as we all know, that never happens, or it very rarely happens. And so a lot of guys they'll do their first campaign, spend $100, they only make 10 back, and so they quit, or they move to a new traffic source, or they try a new offer, and they're not really in it for the long haul. So I guess short-term thinking and expectations of instant riches is one of the biggest newbie mistakes that I see. And it's recurring. They're all doing the same thing.
They are. That's really true. And you can see, you know, it seems like the affiliates that have a lot easier time are the ones that set their expectations. Like, you know, I'll see somebody exactly like you said, they spend a little bit of money and they're so upset that they spent $50 and they got one conversion, and those people just have a really hard time progressing, you know, if they don't kind of turn it around really quick and realize, like, hey, I'm investing in my education and my business. And, you know, I mean, if you think about it, it kind of sounds ridiculous that you could just spend $50 and start making all this money. I mean, if it were that easy, like, you know, everybody would do it, and then it wouldn't work for any of us. So.
Right. Well, the problem is there's a bunch of old products out there that used to say, you know, make $1 million in 5 seconds with this magic bullet system. And those guys, that's the dream that everybody has. And they see people, like they see me on my blog, and they just think like, well, he's lucky or special, or everything he does works. But the truth is, you know, that first AdWords campaign that I had, I lost $3,000 my first month.
Wow.
And I spent about $5,000 and I made back like $2,000, you know, so I lost $3,000. And that was about a fifth of my life savings at that time. And I remember I had to sit there and think to myself, like, I almost quit because I was like, man, I can only make it for a few more months if I do this. But then I'd made a decision. It's the funniest thing. I said it out loud in the air to myself. I said, am I going to continue or not? And then I said, fuck it. Let's just lose it all. Because I enjoyed playing the game so much that I was willing to just lose the money to be able to play.
Yeah.
But what happened was the next month, things turned around. I made like $8,000 the next month. And then the month after that, I think I made 12, you know, and it just started building from there. But if I had quit, I lost money every single day for a good 30 days before I made 1 cent, you know. Yeah, and if I had the opportunity to quit 30 times in that month, every day. And a lot of people quit before they ever get to experience the turnaround that comes with, you know, learning from your mistakes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So do you think what kept you going is, you know, you talked about that you liked it, but did you know that just at some point you were going to make it work?
Yeah, I had a feeling that I could do it because I was talking to an affiliate manager at the time that kind of introduced me to the whole affiliate world. And he was telling me, you know, I've got guys doing big volume on this. I mean, this is back in 2008. So he had guys doing $50,000 a day on this stuff. And he was loading me up with these numbers. I was like, man, if I could just figure this out, you know, there's a huge opportunity but I might lose everything I have trying to get there. But in my case, I'm kind of a gambler by nature, and I was willing to just go for it and lose everything I had if there was any hope that I could pull it off.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people cannot do that. They're too scared of losing money. They spend $5 and lose it. And like you said, they freak out and that's it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And that just, yeah, that ultimately, I mean, those people, sometimes they succeed, like I say, if they can get out of that. But yeah, you definitely, it seems like the people that I know, I'm sure not everyone's like this, but it seems like the people that I know that are successful took a fair amount of risk, or at least were pretty aggressive with testing and not being afraid to test and spend money.
Yeah. And not getting caught up in short-term thinking, like I've lost $50 a day for the last 5 days. This is never going to work. I quit. Instead of, I was thinking long-term, like, okay, I have this amount of money. That means I can lose $50 a day for the next 6 months or whatever it was. And by then, surely I'll have turned this thing around.
Yeah.
But it's just a different mindset, really. But you have to have it if you're going to make it. I think that's the number one reason why 90% of people don't make it in affiliate marketing at all, because they can't get past that initial losing period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. So you're, not to jump around too much here, but on your blog, you also talk about like working out and health and nutrition. That's really important to you. So you're definitely not like the typical internet marketer. You think of the typical internet marketer as like a computer nerd guy who, maybe, I'm not calling anybody out, but maybe is not in the best shape. But you're, kind of the opposite of that. So do you think that I don't know what I want to say, having the creative part, like the music, and also the part of you that's interested in health, do you think that those two things help your marketing efforts?
Well, I think first I'll say I am different than any other affiliate marketer, because I'm not a computer nerd. I love computers, and I'm online enough to qualify for being a computer nerd, but physically I don't fit the mold.
Yeah.
And the joke, people call themselves like affiliate marketing rock stars, and they talk real big online, and they dress up, they post these photos of themselves in limousines and Bentleys, and they're wearing these fake Donald Trump suits and their fancy sunglasses. And then you meet them in person at the conferences. Mm-hmm. And they're like a 5'6", the biggest computer nerd you've ever seen in your life.
Yep.
But they can take photos at good angles, and kind of look cool online.
Yeah. But
I definitely stick out just because I'm covered in tattoos, and these tattoos aren't anything new. Like a lot of guys, they'll get a sleeve of tattoos at once. Mine are kind of were pieced together over a long period of time. And I came into affiliate marketing from the music industry.
Yeah.
So I'm not really even supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably look and sound a little bit different than the other guys. But health, the working out thing is actually relatively new. That came after I figured out affiliate marketing, and it was necessary because of affiliate marketing. You spend that first year or two in your chair, in front of the computer for like 16 hours a day, and you eat whatever you've got, and you might sleep and you might not. Mm-hmm. And after that first year or two, I kind of turned into a bowl of mashed potatoes in my chair, and I went to a friend of mine said, you need to go to a personal trainer, because it was messing with my overall mind. Like my mentality I had no energy. I was just shot.
Yeah. And
he said, go to a trainer. And this guy taught me to work out, but more importantly, he taught me how to eat properly, because no one ever taught me anything as a kid. Like I didn't know about nutrition. I didn't know about credit scores, college, nothing.
Yeah.
And I just kind of was on my own, like a wild animal or something. And he taught me how to eat. So that was a big game changer. And I got ripped for the first time in my life with this trainer. And he was very expensive, a high-end Hollywood trainer. But these days, I actually don't go to him anymore. And I do it all myself. I'm into this intermittent fasting thing for about a year. I've been intermittent fasting for a year, and I've been doing lean gains, or I guess you'd call it reverse pyramid training, for about a year. And I'm in the best shape of my life right now, and my food's on point. Everything's together, and it's just another part of the puzzle of life that I've solved on my own after affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing solved the financial side of my life. That's set. Now I've got the physical physical fitness and health side down. Now I've just got to mix that music thing back in, and I'm going to have the dream life, man.
Yeah, that's that's awesome. You mentioned about intermittent fasting, and I know you talk about this on your blog, but for everyone listening, can you just kind of explain the philosophy behind intermittent fasting, what it is, and what the potential benefits are?
Sure. Well, when people hear when they hear the word fasting, they think that means I don't eat for like 3 days at a time. But intermittent fasting just means that I have a lifestyle where I transition from periods of fasting and periods of eating, and it happens every day. So I fast for 16 hours every day, and I eat for 8 hours every day. And the fasting period includes time of sleep as well. So my schedule is I start eating at about noon, and I stop eating at about 8 p.m. Okay. So I eat my last meal at 8, and then I don't eat again until noon or 1 p.m. the next day. It's really easy to do after you get used to it. First week or two is pretty stressful because you're not used to it.
Yeah.
But after you break through that initial period, it becomes pretty easy. And for me, it's a very preferred lifestyle to anything else. I used to do the 5 meals a day, building type of thing, and that's a pain in the ass because you're dragging Tupperware and stuff around with you, and you're constantly thinking about eating. And then I used to just kind of eat all the time, eat at night and eat breakfast, and you're just always eating. And that just kind of, for me, it made me kind of fat, And the intermittent fasting thing just fits my lifestyle because I can wake up in the morning. I get up really early, about 6 a.m., 5 a.m., drink coffee and go to the gym and do a little work. And then I eat around 1 o'clock or, noon to 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And that's when I eat, I kind of come down off of this crazy high that I get off of the fasting. I'm super productive and I'm super intense when I'm in that fasted state. So at about noon when I eat, that all kind of goes away and I start to go downhill. I accomplish most of my work and goals and stuff before noon every day. And then afterwards, it's just kind of coasting to bedtime.
That's really interesting. So is the main purpose for doing it, is it more like the mental effects or the physical or both?
There are a lot of, for me, it's both. It fits my lifestyle. The fasted period for me is like a superpower. Like I said, I can concentrate. It's when I do all of my writing for the blog. It's when I do all of my designing and work for my affiliate stuff. So for me, it's like a superpower mentally. But physically, there are a lot of benefits, and I'm not an expert or a scientist that can go into that, but you can look it up. But the general idea is that by not feeding your body any food for 16 hours, you're allowing it to kind of process and burn all of the food that you put in it previously. And you basically give it a 16-hour break to burn and clear itself out before you start shoveling food into it again.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And then when you eat during the day, I'm assuming you still watch what you eat, but do you just eat kind of as you're hungry, or?
No, I have a pretty good regimen. I eat the same foods almost every day, and it just makes it easier because I weigh and track everything with MyFitnessPal, which is an iPhone app.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
So I eat a certain amount of calories every day. And I used to be pretty strict with only eating healthy-ish foods, like chicken and broccoli and salads and meat and things like that. But these days, I'm doing this thing called, I started reading about this philosophy called If It Fits Your Macros.
Okay. And
macros are macronutrients, so things like carbs, fats, and proteins that are in food. And so what I do now is I eat anything I want as long as my numbers match up with my carbs, proteins, and fats. So if that means I can fit in a bowl of ice cream for dinner, I do it. I eat ice cream about twice a day every day right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm still in the best shape of my life. It doesn't really screw me up because I keep my calories. When I hit a certain number of calories, I stop eating. And so I'm having a lot more fun with my food these days, thanks to the intermittent fasting thing as well.
I'm going to have to look into that because I definitely like ice cream. So if I could eat it and be in better shape.
Well, the trick, it's that old 80-20 rule. Yeah. And, you eat 80% decent foods. And then if you want to screw around and have a bowl of ice cream, it's not the end of the world. But if you flip that and you eat 80% ice cream and then 20% chicken, you're giving your body nothing to work with, and you can get in real trouble. Yeah, man, as long as you kind of keep it in check and don't go over a certain amount of calories, it's borderline impossible to gain weight. It makes it really easy. When you weigh and track your food, losing weight and gaining weight becomes very simple. It solves the riddle or the mystery completely. It's all just, how many calories you eat and how many calories you burn. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Huh, very cool. Something else on your blog I wanted to talk about that I thought was a really good post. You did this back in April, and back then you were saying why you don't do mobile marketing, and I think the gist of the post was that you're not doing it because you found something that works really good and you're not jumping around, basically, if I understood that correctly. So you kind of avoid all the bright, shiny new things and focus on what's working for you?
Yeah, you have to, because there are so many ways to make money online that it's insane. I mean, you can do 75,000 different things and make $10 million online doing any one of them. Yep. And you can write your own books. You can have a blog and sell ebooks on a certain topic. You can have a YouTube channel. You can do paid traffic. You can do SEO. You can do mobile. You can do desktop. You can do display. You can do PPC. There's so many different ways to make a bunch of money, and a lot of people are doing them all at the same time. That if you hear about, like say I've got a campaign on AdWords and I'm making let's just say $500 a day, and I'm doing good, right? And then I hear about, well, this other guy is doing mobile and he's making $1,000 a day. Well, shit, let me close down this AdWords campaign and go over here to mobile because I want to make $1,000 a day instead of 500. But what people don't get is there's a huge learning curve with every new traffic source. And you're not going to make $1,000 a day immediately. You're going to start out at $0 a day, probably losing money, just like you were on AdWords. And for me, I'm much better off sticking with what's working for me and just growing that to be bigger. So I have some campaigns that I set up at the beginning of the year that are still running and growing, and everything's on track. And mobile looks really good to me. It's really looking great. A lot of people are making a lot of money on it. And people, when you hear that, you go, well, maybe I should do that instead. Yeah. But I've been able to fight it off. I did do a small mobile campaign not too long ago. Like you said, that post was written many months ago. But for me, that focus is key for me. Like I said in the very beginning, I stayed on AdWords for a year and didn't use any other traffic source at all. Yeah. And it's that kind of focus that allowed me to kill it, in the way that I did. But yeah, there's just so many ways to make money that if you can't do all of them. You just can't. You can try, but you'll fail at all of them. My thing is pick one or two, laser focus on it, and just block everything else out.
So what do you think keeps people jumping from traffic source to traffic source? Do you think it's just like you said, like the grass is always greener on the other side? Like, oh, if, someone's making twice as much over here, I can do that too. And then by the time they get into that, something else is coming up that people are making money with. So they go over there. Do you think it's just the idea that there's always something bigger and better than what they're doing?
Yeah. And the grass always looks greener on the other side is a good way to say it. Although I think in the beginning, if you're making no money, then you may say you're doing a campaign on Plenty of Fish making no money, and you hear, well, this guy is doing mobile ads on Decisive's ad network, and he's making money, so let me go try Decisive. Then you log in there, and you're making no money, and then you hear, oh, this guy's on Facebook making all this money, so let me go try Facebook. And then you start, and of course you make no money there either. And they're just looking for an easy win. They think they're going to find some magical traffic source that they're going to put in $100 and it's going to pay them $5 million, or something crazy is going to happen. Right. And as we all know, that doesn't happen. But then it can happen later on. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and when I hear of someone doing incredible numbers on some network, it takes everything you have not to just go, I've got to get on there. I've got to do this. I'm going to knock him right out of that place, and try to do that. But for me, it works better to just stick with what's working, focus, and keep growing it. And don't worry about what other people are doing, because there's always going to be someone bigger than you. Someone's always going to be making more money. Someone's always going to be better than you. And all you can do is try to be better than you were last month, make more money this month than you did last month. And if you keep doing that over time, you'll be fine. You'll be set.
Yeah, I agree. Those are really good points. If you had to start over today, or if you had to give someone advice that was just starting out, what mistakes would you avoid like the second time around, knowing what you know now in affiliate marketing, I guess?
Oh, mistakes would I avoid? It's hard to say, because a lot of the mistakes I made in the very beginning are mistakes you kind of have to make to learn, and you kind of learn from your mistakes. But I'll tell you, instead of that, let me tell you what I would. Well, that's a really hard question to answer. Let me think about it.
Yeah, sorry, I totally know what you mean. Yeah, it's like some stuff you look back and you say, well, if I didn't make that mistake, I wouldn't be where I was at now. But was there anything like jumping around to different traffic sources, and if you did that again, you wouldn't do that this time, or something like that?
You know what I would say, actually, and this might be a weird answer, but it's the one that I'm going to give, and I would have taken more breaks.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think I took a day off for the first 3 years. Yeah. I was one of those guys that when I figured it out, I locked in and I didn't go on vacation. I didn't even spend the money. I didn't even realize I was so wrapped up in the game that I didn't even realize that what I was doing was making money. I thought to me, it was points, it was just a game, and I was racking up these points. And my friends were going on really cool vacations. They were taking breaks regularly. Mm-hmm. And I would laugh at them and say, oh, man, you have no work ethic. Like, you're going to miss out on something, and I'm going to be here. I'm going to kill it while you're in Jamaica or whatever. And when I look back, I think that I would have been much better served to take a week off or 2 weeks off here and there, at least a couple times a year, just to give myself a break. Because when I look back at those first few years, I wasn't making money the whole year. I'd have, this thing goes up and down. It's not really consistent. So you have your points of the year where you make a lot of money, and then you have times of the year where you don't. You may even lose money. And I could have taken breaks during those rough months and had a much better time, felt a lot better, been a lot more refreshed, and it wouldn't have affected my bottom dollar or bottom line much at all. So yeah, I'd say I would have taken more breaks.
That's a good answer. And it reminded me of a post on your blog called "Accomplish More by Doing Less," and I thought that was a really good post where you basically talk about the things that people think they have to work day and night at. You don't really have to. Like, you can work out less and build more muscle, or you can work less and make more money. It's just about doing things smarter than harder. A lot of cases, I guess.
Yeah, and I learned that the hard way. Mm-hmm. And I wish that I had known something about that in the beginning. But you're right. What you said from that post, you're right. When you work out, you have to take breaks in order for your muscles to rebuild. Your muscles grow when you're not working out. When you're asleep and resting, that's when they grow. Mm-hmm. And it's that same kind of concept where less is more.
Yeah.
And these days, like, I used to really work 20 hours a day, and I slept with a laptop in bed with it open, with everything, all my stats and everything, so I could see if anything went wrong or an offer went down or a website went down. But these days, I find that when I work less, I make more money. Meaning, if I set up a campaign and everything's good to go, and I leave the house, just go away for a few hours or a few days, mm-hmm. I can come back, and the campaigns usually make more money than they do if I'm there tweaking them 24/7, and changing things and making all these stupid tests and trying all these different things, more for entertainment than anything else. But it's almost like the more I work, the less money I make. So I've had to make a big shift in that regard. And that's why I wrote that post. Everything that I write is basically stuff that I'm going through or that I've learned recently.
Cool. Yeah. And also going along with the work less, make more money, you also have to look at people usually only measure how much they spend and how much they get back, but they often don't look at how much time it takes to do a campaign. So yeah, if you're, making $500 a day on an AdWords campaign, but you're literally spending 24 hours a day running it, your hourly rate really isn't that good. You could get a job and make more than that. So I guess you kind of have to balance
You said, wait a minute, I'm making $10 an hour here or $20 an hour. I could do that at 7-Eleven management or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. And this is, why not? This is the dream job because you can't really set it and forget it. I don't want to say that, but you can set it up. And once it gets running, it doesn't need you. It doesn't need me 24 hours a day. It needs me for about 1 hour a day, tops, and anything other than that, I'm entertaining myself and breaking things.
Yeah. This is kind of jumping back to something we talked about before, but I just kind of thought of it. So when you started becoming really successful with the affiliate marketing stuff, did you find yourself getting alienated from any of your friends or people you associated with? Did you deal with any jealousy? Because I know a lot of people, including myself, like people they were friends with before they became successful don't always treat them the same way. And same thing with family too sometimes. Did you have to deal with any of that?
Yeah, I think we all do, because let's just say my previous circle of friends, and many of them are still my friends to this day. I lost about half of them, but the other half I'm still friends with today, and they're from various backgrounds. Like some don't have a dollar to their name, and others are friends that I know in the affiliate world that are multimillionaires and stuff. But the ones that's a really weird thing that you deal with when you do well, is that some people get mad at you and they either want you to give it to them, just give them money for free because they deserve it, or they want to tear you down somehow and screw you up. And I was actually, what I say is you don't have to worry about your friends or you don't have to worry about your enemies so much, because you know where your enemies stand. They hate you and they want you to be destroyed. Mm-hmm. But you have to watch out for your friends, because certain friends they'll sit by your side, could be for years, man. And then when you do something well, they may try to take you out without you, and you would never believe that it would be this one, this guy. But he will attempt to destroy you. You know what I mean? And it's a very strange thing. But that is a weird balance. When you start to take off and other people don't, it gets kind of weird. It gets a little strange.
Yeah, it does. I guess, everybody has to face that at some point and to some degree. Like it just comes the price of success, I guess.
Yeah. It's a little weird. And you have to learn your lessons the hard way, because in the beginning you may want to loan money to everyone you know. Mm. Or to try to help everyone learn how to do affiliate marketing all at the same time. Because believe me, everyone's going to want to know, and everyone's going to want to borrow money.
Yep.
And you try to do that at first, and then you realize, wait a minute, I can't possibly teach 100 people with no computer background how to do this, and I can't possibly loan thousands of dollars to these 100 people and never get any of it back, and it's just not going to work. And so you have to I slowed all that down over time to where now it's pretty easy for me. I say no a lot. Yeah. And I say I can't a lot. And everybody's pretty cool with that. And my thing is, if they're not cool with that, forget it. I don't care anymore,
Yeah.
I'm a pretty nice guy, but if I have to loan you 10 grand for us to be friends, fuck off. You know what I mean? That's
exactly.
It. Stick around, bro.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take all your time. I know you're a busy guy, so I'll just wrap up with one more question. What do you see as kind of the future of affiliate marketing? I know that's kind of a broad general question, but a lot of people are wondering that. Do you see it evolving in a specific way? Do you think it's going to keep going the way it's going, and just changing what we promote and what traffic sources we run? Or what do you see as kind of the future?
Well, I think it's going to always be there. I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. People have been telling me from the time I came through the door of affiliate marketing, in 2007, 2008, that it was almost over.
Yeah, me too.
Here we are in 2014, and it's bigger than ever.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the traffic sources change and the offers change, but there will always be a need for businesses will always need customers, and that's what we do. We basically deliver customers to businesses in exchange for a fee, and that's going to always exist. Mm-hmm. Now, I think for me as an affiliate marketer, the way that I might progress over time is to transition into a guy that builds more like a product owner, or have my own offers or own assets or build my own websites and stuff like that, because there's actually way more money in that. And if you can build something that you can take public someday, I mean, you can make so much money that it's unbelievable these days.
Sure.
But, as far as affiliate marketing as a business goes, I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger. Of course, the tools are going to change, and it's not going to, people say, oh, the future is mobile, but mobile is going to be looked at as caveman tools real soon. And like it could be 50 years and mobile is going to be looked at as Atari. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to predict what the traffic sources are going to be or what it's going to look like. But I think if someone's coming in today and they're brand new and they think they missed the boat, don't think that, because people have been thinking that for the last 10 years. And every year it just keeps going and keeps getting bigger. So my advice is lock in, get started now, and don't worry about missing the boat, because you haven't missed anything. It's just getting started.
Great point. Well, I want to thank you for doing this. I definitely got a lot out of it, and I'm going to put a link to your blog when I make this post, but for anybody listening, they can check it out at malandarras.com, malandarras.com. So yeah, again, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it, and maybe I can have you back someday and we can talk some more.
Cool, man. Yeah, nice to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.